Well, it is that time of year again, InfoComm time, which bounces back and forth every other year between Orlando, Florida, and Las Vegas, Nevada. This year, it's in Vegas, June 17th through 19th in the North and Central halls. That's when the exhibit halls are all open for a week before that. Starting on the 13th, the education seminars and all that begin as well. And as has been the case pretty much every year since InfoComm started, Visix will be there. I'm going to talk today to President and CEO of Visix, Sean Matthews, about what we can expect from their offering at Booth C7814 this year. Thanks for coming on, Sean, for our annual Here's What's Coming.
Hey, thanks, Derek. I appreciate you having me. It's a great time of year, summer. Yeah, so it's warming up.
Yeah, especially in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure we're looking at a mild 100 degrees Fahrenheit while we're there.
Hey, but it's a dry heat. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. I remind you there is a transcript on the Visix website under resources where you can find some helpful links as well. Whether you're using digital signage or not, our podcast gives you practical tips for communications and content to better engage your audience. I'm Derek DeWitt. Welcome to Digital Signage Done Right. All right, as we mention every year, we probably don't need to go over it again. Visix has been at InfoComm pretty much since the beginning. You've seen it change over the years. This year, do you think it's just going to be like, oh yeah, every year the industry changes a little bit? Or do you think there's going to be like a big wow this year? Or what's your anticipation for the show in general?
Wow, that's a great question, because I don't think it's a wow event. I don't. I think that technologies that are used in our respective spaces throughout the visual communication spaces, they're evolutionary at this stage. People, Derek, are going to talk about AI this, AI that. I think most people are tired of it. I don't think that AI has a profound effect on the technologies in the market spaces that we're in at a level that generates a wow, to be honest.
Now, having said that, AI is now integrated to some extent into your flagship product, Access TV Signage Suite.
I mean, it is. We have some AI content creation assistants. We have two different versions. One's for text and one is for full-blown image content creation. And the thing is, man, I'm not going to understate the value of this technology as it relates to content creation. Content creation is one of the more challenging aspects of being a very effective enterprise communicator. And, coming up with new visually compelling material every day, Derek, in the digital signage space, or even in the employee experience environment, i.e. on apps that are associated with teams, et cetera, coming up with that material and it being visually, striking and compelling, it's tough. It's tough to do every day. And these particular technologies, with AI support, help you create that type of content more quickly and easier.
Exactly. I mean, it sure beats, I think, if you're a person who's busy and like I think a lot of people who get sort of handed the digital signage after it's been bought and implemented, they have other stuff to do. And now they're told, oh, here's an additional thing you're going to have to do that's going to take up somewhere between 10 and 15 hours a week of your time. And some of that time is spent, going out there and trying to find copyright-free images that are appropriate to the message. And it's fun, but it also takes time, whereas you can just type it in to the image creating AI. It gives you a couple of options. You can tweak it a bit. I think it's a lot faster. Plus, let's face it, there is no copyright issue because it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I think that, it has been a forever problem. You've harkened back to the days of content is king. It wasn't so much about the technology. It's, what are you conveying and how effective is it? Yeah, I mean, this is just another tool to make it easier and, optimistically makes more compelling material, particularly if you're not like a graphic artist. I'm not. And it would be very difficult for me to create compelling visuals day in and day out. It just would.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same way. I always think, I would love to run a digital signage system, but for the, manipulating images thing, I don't know how to use Photoshop. I should probably learn it, but, it's a steep learning curve, and I don't have 20 hours free to learn Photoshop and become proficient in it. And now I don't have to. Thanks, AI.
Most definitely. Yeah. I think, I think it'll be a subset of a lot of booths that you go visit while you're at InfoComm. I do. I think some companies will go all in, Derek. It'll be plastered on the side of their booth, which I don't think that's very compelling. You see a lot of AI tools associated with analytics. I am a user of analytic technology, but I'm just not convinced that I need a dashboard for every single thing that I do in my professional life.
Suddenly you've got 87 dashboards. You're like, now I need an AI to manage my AI generated dashboards.
True, very true. Yeah, not something I'm interested in. So I think, in short, the event will feature a lot of AI technologies, but I think that there are more subtle technologies, some of which we're showing, that have a much more profound effect on the business enterprise and the employee experience at large.
I think one of those, if I may anticipate, is Visix is showing really a heck of an array of electronic paper and ePaper and e-ink technologies this year. I mean, you guys have been doing this for a long time, but I think this year it's like a massive deployment. You're showing all these different kinds of, from tiny to bigger, every kind of EPS thing you could want.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this since 2014, and it's a technology that was ahead of its time. It was. And we've reached this point in the adoption curve where lots of people are grasping a hold of this technology and employing it effectively. I mean, one of the things, Derek, and you can debate this all day long if you want, but the hybrid model versus, return to office, there's really three basic models out there: the hybrid model, the traditional fully in person, and then the fully remote. And the fully remote is a very small group of businesses. Somewhere I read like 6-7% completely abandon the office. This whole segment's dominated by small startups, tech native companies, that kind of thing. So it's a small group, fully remote. Fully in person, that, I read 25 to 30% of companies, which leaves, about 65% of companies that are operating under some sort of formal, hybrid framework, right? They're mixing, remote days, in-office collaboration. And that's where ePaper is just, I mean, taking off. And for us, this event is a springboard to launch a completely repackaged version of electronic paper, an entire product offering that works in that hybrid model.
Yeah, I remember some years ago, I think on this annual interview that we do before InfoComm, I think you said something like, it was just after the pandemic, and you were like, this hybrid thing is going to kind of take off, and that's where we have an edge because we're already very comfortable with ePaper and EPS signs. And lo and behold, here it is, 2026, and like you said, like everybody practically has some kind of electronic paper in some way, shape, or form. And I honestly think it's going to. It just makes so much sense. It's so easy. It's ecologically sustainable, or as sustainable as this sort of thing can get. I think it's cost effective. It's frankly kind of cheap when you consider the power of the communications that you can send out through them. It's just going to take over, I think. I think in 10 years, I don't think you'll see LED and LCD screens hardly ever. I think it's all going to be paper.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I think there will be other technologies, Derek. If you kind of think about the sort of Minority Report, forward-looking concept.
By the way, that was a real company. When that movie was made, that was not dummied up by the special effects department. That was an actual company, and they were using their actual software. But it wasn't that smooth, and that company eventually went out of business.
Interesting. But I do think that using projection technology and visual mapping and that kind of stuff on physical surfaces will be more relevant in the future than flat panel LCD type technologies. And then, of course, electronic paper fits in because it can mount on virtually anything, anywhere, no wires, no Wi-Fi burden, none of those things. I mean, this technology has moved way beyond simple black and white technologies, vibrant, multicolor, large format, runs for years, no wires in sight, no power requirements. I mean, it's crazy what you can do with this technology now. And, it's really springboarded since it's big coming out with things like Kindle and other, paper type readers. But man, in the, enterprise space right now, it's taken off like crazy. We're seeing triple digit growth. There are opportunities here for our integration partners that they haven't had, since the pandemic. These technologies that are six-figure deployments with connections to other technologies, expanding the potential for, what the integration looks like in a real-world environment. I mean, it's just fundamentally different. It's not just for room signs, it's desk signs, it's workplace wayfinding. I mean, it's deployable, it's scalable. You don't hire electricians, you don't run a cable. I mean, man, it's just fantastic.
It just makes so much sense.
All of the momentum for us right now is in ePaper, right? It's the number one story that we tell. It actually trumps some of the digital signage conversations that we have. We've been doing that for 20 plus years, right? But these office building intensive businesses, legal firms, professional services, financial firms, that type of stuff, they're all going to these new environments as their leases expire from the pandemic era. They have the opportunity to build out completely new facilities, incorporate the technologies that they want for this new, office experience. And I mean, it's just fantastic.
I know one of the sort of key visuals of the booth this year is there's a wall, a massive wall, just filled with ePaper signs of all sorts of different sizes.
Yeah, so what you're going to see on this massive wall, and this is cool, Derek, you can walk up and you can take the signs off the walls because there's zero wires, zero limits, right? That's the thread that's just going to run throughout the booth while we're there, right? Our big reveal is going to be a 32-inch wireless ePaper sign, true color, not just four color, but true color, 1440 by 2560 resolution, very wide viewing angle. It's the first time that we're showing this type of technology. But coupled with that, we're showing several different versions, a complete lineup of much smaller signs designed for collaboration spaces, huddle rooms, desks, hallway intersections, workstations, shared spaces. I mean, it just goes on and on and on because you can mount them to virtually anything. You can mount them to drywall, you mount them to glass, melamine, cloth. It doesn't matter, right? And even if we don't have full color technology like in the new 32-inch, but the other technologies that are 4-color and 3-color, we are using some AI tools to help us with the dithering factor and the algorithm that produces images that look almost full color and fit onto the display. And not only fit onto the display, but those images can extend to custom frame facades that go around the sign, so you can incorporate braille, corporate branding, all kinds of stuff. Man, I mean, it's just going to be a fantastic visual experience while you're there. It's low key. You don't have to spend a ton of time there. I told somebody recently, if you just stop by for 9 minutes, you'll get all of it. You'll get AI, you'll get ePaper, you'll get a coffee, a pastry,
A cookie.
yeah, man, you'll get a cookie.
Hot cookies. Come on, man. Who doesn't love a hot cookie?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll have it all. Just stop by for just a few minutes, and man, it'll be worth the trip.
There you go. I think 9 minutes. Everybody, you can spare 9 minutes. Come on. Let them scan your badge, get something to drink, get a coffee, and check this stuff out. One of the reasons I like going to shows like this is it stimulates me. It puts my brain going in certain directions like, oh, wow, look at this or look at this trend or what have you, because I'm always trying to predict what the future will be. Speaking of which, I'm sure it won't be at this show, but like you said, someday this stuff will get supplanted by something new. People might be interested to know that scientists, or I should say engineers at the Public University of Navarra in northern Spain in the Basque region just premiered. They just did a press release, like seriously, not a couple weeks ago, where they have holograms that you can touch, physically, like a little hologram car, and you touch the hologram, it feels like you're touching a physical surface using, I don't actually know the technology, it's called something called diffusers or something. That might be in the future. But in the meantime, this EPS stuff is the way to go.
It is. I mean, the fantastic thing about this is, we've just added, a technology that's an extension of the things that you're already doing in your enterprise. Like, we support 12 different calendaring and facility management platforms. So you're already using this technology in your space, and we're simply scraping the data and, applying it to the sign itself. So the work that you've just been doing in the background, you don't have to add anything to that, right? So as you normally schedule your space and book the space that you want to use for the meeting that you're going to host, man, you just do that like you've always done it. And when you get there, magically, that information's on a piece of electronic paper, outside of the space that you're going to be using. So there's no additional work. There's no additional apps. There's no additional cables. It's just sticking electronic paper to the place where you're going to host your meeting. That's it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's literally like taping up a piece of paper without the tape, without the throwing it away, without the bad handwriting, without, printer toner ink has gone up in price. It's already there. It's reusable, which is, I think that's what it was intended to be.
It is. I mean, it is a paper replacement for sure. Again, it's a great opportunity, not only for our partners, but, end users in particular, because they're looking for a more cost-effective way to extend the use of the technologies that they've already invested in. And this is it.
And of course, digital signage is not just software stuff. As we're saying, this particular kind of hardware. And then on the player side as well, obviously Visix has a whole range of players, and you're partnering with BrightSign now. And I assume that you're also ready to, show what the new BrightSign Series 6 can do as well.
Yeah. So, last year we first introduced our BrightSign support. That's continued to evolve. We're a full premier partner with those guys. The BrightSign player is our first foray into some sort of, other third-party player. Those technologies that are built into the displays themselves, lots of reasons for that, typically used in retail, which we don't do. But, the BrightSign player is definitely, it's the ubiquitous player in the market at large. Those guys have shipped more hardware players than anybody else in the industry. So we thought it made sense to extend our technology to what it is that they're doing. And we're seeing a lot of higher education institutions buying, the BrightSign option, either from us or from someone else, AV Partners, BrightSign Direct, doesn't matter. That is another piece of what we'll be showing, in addition to AI, electronic paper, and BrightSign. That's the real crux. And again, you can do it in 9 minutes.
9 minutes. So make sure to head to Booth C7814. That's C7814. Coffee, sodas, water, cookies, EPS, BrightSign, and more.
That's it. Look forward to seeing you there. I'll be happy to hand you a cookie myself.
There you go. Straight from the CEO and president of Visix himself, Sean Matthews, who's been talking to me today about what we can expect at this year's InfoComm, which is in Las Vegas in the year 2026. Thanks for talking to me, Sean. I'm sure it's going to be a great show.
All right. Thank you, Derek. It's good chat.
Thank you. And again, I remind everybody that there is a transcript of the conversation we just had on the Visix website. For more free stuff, head to resources on Visix.com for guides, videos, and more to help with your visual communications. Please subscribe and share, and contact us for information about our digital signage solutions.